Okay guys, so in this session we are going to discuss about the Maven concept. Okay, Maven tool, which is a build tool. Okay, so first point is Maven is a build tool. But let's understand, before we start understanding and getting deep into what Maven is, let's understand what is build tool. Okay, why do we need to use a build tool? Let's understand. Now let's talk about the journey of a developer. Journey in the sense like what all tasks he perform on any application. Tasks performed by developer. Okay. So what does he do? Like when he works on any development of any application. So what all things he works, like how that particular application he starts developing, and then what he does the next phase, then what he does the next phase now, and how that application reaches to the deployment, and to the state where the users can start using it, right? So let's understand the different tasks right from the developer starts working on any application and until it gets ready and made available for the usage by the users. So first thing what developer does when he starts implementing any application, so first thing is what he do is like downloading third-party libraries. Now what I mean by the third-party libraries, let's say I want to implement one application in Java. Let's take an example of Java, and say Excel. As a part of my implementation of my application, I want to read the data from Excel and write the data into Excel, right? So this is what I need to do in my coding, right? Now for that, Java libraries, they don't have any classes using which we can deal with the Excel files, right? So the Java classes which we use during the implementation of our application, so whatever the classes we use, there are few classes which we use, they are from the Java libraries, and few of them are not from the Java libraries, someone else has implemented those, right? So those we called as third-party libraries, right? So the internal classes or the classes which are implemented in the Java libraries, they don't have any class which has got a support for dealing with the Excel files, right? So Excel files or CSV files, I want to deal with those, so I don't have any dedicated class created in the Java libraries which will allow me to do that. So if you are in need of some other classes implemented by other developers and which are not available in the Java libraries, those classes which someone else has developed and implemented, he has compiled the implementation the way we have compiled our Java programs and created the class files, right? So that person who has written an implementation to deal with the Excel file, so he has implemented those things, he has compiled, created the class files, and he has created the libraries, distributed libraries, which he can provide the other people, and then those people can use them, right? So those are libraries which are third-party libraries, means the libraries, the classes which we use which are not available in the, say now, Java library classes. Okay, so the developer, before he starts coding, he has to first download the third-party libraries from the web or wherever it is available. We will talk about it, from where the developers usually download the third-party libraries. Next, what he does, then writes the code, right? Then compilation. Compilation he does, and then creates a library again. So if he is also working on some kind of a implementation which he wants to create a library of. So you will create the library. We will talk about it. What is library here in this case, and then deployment of this library or deployment of this application, you can say. So these are the tasks which a developer performs while developing any application. Now, downloading the libraries can be done manually. Each and every step from this from this list can be done manually. There is no doubt about that. Writing a code need to be done manually. That's not a question here. But even downloading the libraries, compilation also we can do on our own by using javac command. This is how we used to compile our programs, right? Our Java programs, whatever we have written till date, we have never used any IDE, right? We have used the notepad, and for compilation we have made use of the javac. So from the command prompt we have use javac to compile our program. So this also can be done manually. Library creation, we haven't yet talked about the library creation, how to do it, but library creation also can be done by using a jar command. Like the library on the Java environment is called jar, okay, .jar, Java archive file. So this is a jar file. Also jar file can also be created using the jar command, which comes with the Java SDK. And deployment can also be done manually if we choose to. But if my developer wants a tool assistance, okay, my developer wants a tool assistance to perform these tasks, so he will go with the build tool. So build tool is a tool which automates this process, not development, but downloading the third-party libraries, compilation, creating the jar file, and even the deployment of that jar file or war file, whatever kind of application he is building into. So that deployment. So these steps, if you want to automate, then the build tool is what you need. Okay. So Maven is one of the build tools. There are other build tools as well, like Apache Ant is there, Gradle is there. But each and every build tool does this thing. Like, this is what they are made for. Like for automating these things, right? Where whatever the tasks or whatever the things the developer need to do once he is done with the development, or rather before he starts development, he want to get some libraries downloaded, or after the development he wants to go with the next step with the respect of the application he has developed. So he can get those things automated using the build tool. Now let's understand where the developers can get these third-party libraries from. Okay, now let's take one example. I'll show you one example. Apache POI. So Excel can be read and write using a third-party library called Apache POI. So it is a library. Apache POI, this is their official website. Okay, so you can get the Apache POI downloaded from here as well. You can see the Apache POI, the stable version. What they have is they have put it on their site as well, this Apache POI. So once you click on this, you will get the jar files downloaded. Okay, this is the way. If you want to do it manually, you can do like that. So whatever the third-party library you want to use, just go to their official website. Who is the developer of that particular library, go to their official website and you can get it downloaded, no doubt about that. But there is one problem with getting the libraries downloaded on our own. Now let's understand what that problem is. Say this Apache POI implementation, whoever has implemented, like this Apache Foundation organization, they have implemented this library. Now while implementing this, they have made use of some classes, other classes which they have, which we don't care about basically, but they have, while implementing their library, their code, they have used those classes. So this library depends on some other libraries, right? That is called depends on. So dependency it is called as, like if your implementation, whatever you have done, in that implementation you have made use of some third-party classes again. So this library doesn't only uses the classes from Java libraries, but along with using Java library classes, these people have also used some other classes. The way now we are thinking of using this Apache POF in our implementation, they also might have used some other classes while implementing this, right? So this library, if it has got its own dependencies, the third party dependencies, then now if we need this Apache POI jar file or a library, only downloading this will not be sufficient for us. We need to download this Apache POI library along with all of its dependencies. That's the main point. So when you download any library, any third party library, you have to make sure that like before you start using it, you have to make sure that you have downloaded that library along with its all dependencies. So it may happen that this Apache POI is depending on, let's say, one library. I'm just putting the points here, guys, for understanding. Apache POI has got, let's say, following dependencies: a.jar, some b.jar. Let's say these two jar files, they are this Apache POI jar file depends on. Now this a.jar on which this Apache POI depends on might be depending on some, let's say, a_1.jar. So there could be recursive dependencies as well for all of these dependencies, right? Now we just need the Apache POI.jar file, okay? But downloading only Apache POI.jar file will not be sufficient. We need to download all of the recursive dependencies, okay? So the dependencies which the Apache POI jar depends on, and the dependencies of those dependencies which they depend on. So like that, we have to go on downloading each and every dependency our Apache POI depends on, whether those are the direct dependencies or indirect, doesn't matter, but you need to get them all, right? Now doing this manually would be obviously a tedious stuff, isn't it? Right? So what can we do then? Now our build tool will do that for us. So this build tool, if I ask my build tool to download my Apache POI, so my build tool will take care of downloading all the recursive dependencies as well. So I need a tool assistance here, right? So I cannot just download each and everything manually, but we need a tool assistance here. So that is what the tool assistance, again, the build tool provides with respect to downloading the third party libraries. Now let's understand one more concept, that is Maven repository. What is this Maven repository is all about? Let's understand. So Maven repository, say you are a Java developer and you have created a library, a jar file you have created, let's say calculator application you have implemented, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division methods are there, and now you have created the jar file and you want to distribute it within the developers in the world now. Now Maven repository is a central repository made available for such kind of things. Like if you have a jar file created or library project which you think that this might be useful for the people out there who are the Java developers, then so what you will do is you will choose to deploy your jar file instead of on your official website. So if you deploy it on your official website, then what people need to do in order to get it downloaded, they have to manually do that stuff. But if they are using any build tool, right? So build tool, for the sake of getting them such kind of libraries downloaded, so the build tool downloads the dependencies from one centralized repository. Okay, so Maven repository is that central repository of one platform which is made available to the Java developers to put their libraries if they wish to share their libraries with the world. So they can deploy their they can deploy their jar files or those libraries on that platform Maven repository, so that the people wanting them, they can take the assistance from the Maven build tool or any build tool for that matter. So build tools, when they download, right, so they download them from the central repository. I'll show you the Maven central repository. So let's go there. Now I'll come here and I'll say mvn repository.com. Right, so this is the central repository. This is the central repository, mvnrepository.com, which is if you put your jar files or the libraries, then the people wanting them, they can get them downloaded through the use of any build tool like Gradle, Maven, Ant, and these build tools usually downloads the libraries from such kind of central repositories. So this is the central repository which where the people, instead of putting their libraries on their official website, there also they put it, no doubt about that, but usually people prefer this such kind of central repositories now to put their libraries, so that the users can take help from the build tools in getting them downloaded along with their all dependencies for their projects, right? So this is the MVN repository. So MVN repository is a central repository. It is a centralized platform, made available to deploy reusable Java libraries, right? So I'll just put a jar in the bracket. So Java libs, okay, to deploy reusable Java libs. So these libraries can be downloaded using build tools like Maven, Ant, I'll say Gradle. So because Gradle and Maven, they are mostly used now instead of Ant. No one uses Apache Ant now. The people are on Maven and Gradle now, right? So this is what the Maven repository is. So Maven repository is a centralized repository where the Java libraries get deployed, or the people deploy their libraries over there, so that the users wanting them can take assistance from the build tools to get them downloaded from there along with their dependencies. Now what is that? Let's see. Now I'll just search for some library here. Let's say Apache POI. So Apache POI. So you can see here, this is the page of that particular Apache POI. This is the Apache POI project. Apache POI Java API to access Microsoft format files. So MS Word, MS Excel, and all those files can be dealt with using Java, using this library, right? So let's go inside Apache POI. So these are the versions released till date of this Apache POI. Now let's go to the particular version and see more information on that. So this is the Apache POI 5.00 version, and here we have a link to download the jar. So I can click on here on this link and I can get the jar file downloaded, no problem, right? But if you come down, scroll down here, you can see its dependencies. So downloading only this will not be sufficient for you. You need to download this particular jar file along with all its dependencies. Now few of these dependencies may have their recursive dependencies as well, right? So that's what I was talking about. But each and every information you will get it regarding any particular dependency on this platform, right? So let's talk about this. Here Apache POI 5.0.0, right? So here it has got the dependencies, the compile time dependencies. Now if you need this dependency Apache POI, so you have to download this jar file along with downloading the compile time dependencies. Now this is something which we don't want to do manually. We want the tool assistance for this, and build tools are capable of doing this. So they will assist you in downloading this Apache POI library along with all its compile time dependencies, and if any of these or all of these are again depending on some other dependencies, so downloading them all and giving you on your machine is what the very important task the build tools perform, right? So build tools are all are capable of doing these things, right? Now let's talk about one more point, very important. When we decide to deploy, this is called, by the way, this MVN repository is called artifact repository. So artifact means like when you implement your Java code and you compile it, you create the class files, and then you bundle those class files in the form of jar files, right? So you create the libraries, so which can be used. So those jar files which you build, they are called artifacts, and the repositories which we use to put those libraries, so that repository is also called as artifact repository. This is an artifact repository. So when you deploy your library on such artifact repositories, you need to mention three factors or three parameters, we can say, regarding your project. I'll tell you what is the identification. Like when we say any project on artifact repositories get identified using following three parameters. One is group ID. So every library you will see here on this artifact repository, you will find the group ID for every library over there, artifact ID, and third is version. So we will talk about it now. So group ID, what is group ID? So group ID is usually it indicates the owner of the project. Now if you see, this Apache POI is a group, right? It's an organization, you can say, or the owner of these many projects, right? They have got these many libraries they have deployed over here, so the people can get them downloaded with the help of some kind of a build tool. So Apache POI is one of the project of them. Apache POI API based on OPC and OOXML schemas is yet another project. So this group ID has got multiple projects here. So group ID is the organization. Okay. Then artifact ID. Now artifact ID means what? A particular project name. So name of the particular project. Now this Apache POI is a group, okay, under which we have these many projects, right? And this is the particular project, artifact ID. So any project has, let's say I deploy one calculator API over here, jar file here, over here. So I'll put the group ID as Pranod ID, so which will indicate, okay, who is the owner of this project. So all of my projects, whatever the projects I will deploy here, I will keep the group IDs for all of them as Pranod ID. So usually the group ID should indicate who is the owner of this particular project or who has implemented it, right? Then artifact ID is the name of the project. So I can give the name as calculator API, and version. So I can deploy multiple versions here, like version 1.0. I have implemented calculator APIs 1.0 version, where I have implemented where I have implemented a addition function, then I have added a subtraction function, and I have released the version 2.0. So I have got different versions of my API here. So every project, it gets evolved, right? So at start it has got few functionalities, then the few more functionalities get added, and then they make a release of that version 2. So in the label of version 2, then again few more functionalities get added, and the release happens in under the label 3. So like that, every project, like, you know, as and when it gets evolved, it gets the new version, and those versions you can release here, right? So every project or every library, you can say, on this artifact repository gets identified with the three things: group ID, owner, right? Artifact ID is the actual project name, right? So one owner can have multiple projects, right? So for all those projects, you will find group ID to be set to the same name. Project name should be different, right? Of course, if the group ID owner, I have like under the group ID I have calculator API project already, then I cannot again deploy another project with the same name, calculator API. I have to choose some different name, isn't it? And version is the you know, the, what you can say, the release version of that project, release version of library, right? So every project on this artifact repository gets identified with these three parameters, and by mentioning these three parameters, you can deploy your library on this artifact repository, MVN repository, right guys? So this is what MVN repository is. And build tools like Maven, Gradle, so they integrate with this kind of artifact repositories, and they will help you in getting your dependencies downloaded, as well as once you are done with compilation, you created your library file, now jar file, and now if you decide to deploy that library on such artifact repository, there also build tools will help you out in that, right? So that is what now we are going to discuss about, how the Maven will now assist us in getting these things done. Okay.